Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. The first time I heard that song, I thought it was just a catchy tune. The kind of song you forget about the moment it ends. Camille had been playing it on repeat, humming along while she cleaned the house or cooked dinner. I brushed it off as one of those trends that seemed to capture her attention from time to time. But as the weeks rolled on, something about it started to gnaw at me. The lyrics, though simple, dripped with a raw sensuality. They painted a picture of domination and submission, a narrative of a man who took control while a woman surrendered to his every whim. I couldn't quite put my finger on why it bothered me, but I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something deeply personal behind Camille's newfound obsession with it. "Camille," I called one afternoon, trying to sound casual as I leaned against the kitchen counter. "What's with all the low-grade songs lately? I mean, they're kind of, well, cheap, don't you think?" She glanced up from her chopping board, her knife pausing mid-slice. "It's just fun, Alex. You know I like to mix things up with music. Besides, it makes me feel good. Just listen to the beat." "Yeah, but do you even know who the singer is?" I pressed, unable to contain the curiosity bubbling up inside me. "His name is everywhere, and honestly, it seems like he's singing about." "Stop being so dramatic," she cut me off, a hint of annoyance in her voice. "You're acting like I'm doing something wrong. It's just a song." But it wasn't just a song anymore. I started to notice the way her face lit up when she talked about it, the way her body swayed to the rhythm when she thought I wasn't watching. I felt a pit in my stomach, a sinking realization that I didn't want to acknowledge. I began to dig deeper, lurking in the shadows of my own home, listening to the lyrics she sang along to, dissecting them line by line. The lines were like daggers, each one striking deeper than the last. It was like reading a diary of someone else's love affair. It felt as if the artist was narrating her secret life, her dreams, her desires, everything I thought I had shared with her. The anger simmered beneath my skin. Then one night, as I sat on the edge of the bed, I decided to confront her. "Camille," I said, my voice steady but low, "who is this guy? This singer?" Her eyes darted to the floor, her fingers fidgeting with the hem of her shirt. "Just some guy, Alex. Why does it matter?" "Does it matter?" I echoed, incredulous. "Because it sounds like you're obsessed. Is there something you're not telling me? Is he?" "Stop. You're being ridiculous," she snapped, a flash of anger crossing her face. "It's just music. I can listen to whatever I want. You're acting like I'm cheating on you or something." And that's when the truth hit me, like a cold wave crashing over me. I knew, even without her confirmation, that it wasn't just music. This wasn't a mere infatuation with a catchy song, it was a soundtrack to her infidelity. The pieces of the puzzle clicked into place, and I felt a rush of adrenaline. I had to know more, so I started searching online. I typed the singer's name into a search engine, my heart pounding as I clicked through various links. And there it was, a headline that made my blood run cold. The singer was notorious for his promiscuity and had been linked to multiple affairs. Suddenly, every lyric I'd heard echoed through my mind with a new clarity. They weren't just words, they were secrets, a code only she understood. I could feel rage coursing through me, a dark desire for revenge settling deep in my gut. The betrayal twisted in my chest like a knife. This wasn't just about a song anymore, it was about her entire life with me, a life that had been built on lies. I knew I couldn't just sit idly by. I needed to take action. I wanted her to feel the same pain she'd inflicted on me. I needed to break her, to shatter her perfect little world of deceit. I was determined to dismantle everything she cherished, to make her understand the depth of her betrayal. The plan began to form in my mind, a series of calculated moves to make her realize the weight of what she had done. I wanted her to suffer. I wanted her to understand that no matter how much she tried to hide behind catchy lyrics and shallow melodies, the truth would always come out. Camille, I said one evening, leaning against the doorframe with an air of nonchalance, I've been thinking about our future. Maybe it's time we had a serious talk about what we really want. Her brow furrowed slightly, a flicker of concern in her eyes. What do you mean? I just smiled, the darkness brewing within me igniting a flame of anticipation. The first chapter of our story was ending, and soon, would write the next one, a chapter filled with chaos, revenge, and the sound of her breaking heart. Little did she know, the soundtrack of her betrayal was about to get a whole lot louder. The days following my revelation were suffocating. Each moment spent in the same house as Camille felt like I was living in a pressure cooker, the heat rising and rising until something had to give. I watched her float through the days, blissfully unaware of the storm brewing beneath the surface. She hummed that dreadful song under her breath, her spirit seemingly untouched by the chaos swirling around her. I had to act. My plan began taking shape like a dark cloud in the sky, and I could feel the first drops of rain. One afternoon, as she stood in the kitchen, chopping vegetables for dinner, I decided it was time to lay the groundwork. "Hey, Camille," I said, walking into the room with a casual demeanor, "I was thinking we should do something special this weekend. Maybe a little getaway?" Her eyes lit up, but I could see a flicker of hesitation. "Really? That sounds great, but where would we go?" "Just a little cabin in the woods, somewhere quiet," I suggested, carefully gauging her reaction. "I thought it might be nice to disconnect for a bit, you know. Just us." She nodded slowly, the knife stilling in her hand. "I'd love that. But, what about work? I have a few deadlines coming up." I shrugged, feigning indifference. "You can always catch up later. Besides, a break would do you good. Let me handle the arrangements." As she resumed chopping, I felt a surge of satisfaction. It was the perfect ruse, a chance to lure her into a space where I could confront her more directly, without the distractions of our everyday lives. That Friday, as we packed the car, the tension in the air felt electric. I kept my tone light, joking about the snacks I'd packed. "You know, I might have gone a little overboard. But you'll thank me when we're sitting around the fire with s'mores." "Sounds perfect," she replied, her smile genuine but her eyes betraying a hint of nervousness. I wondered if she sensed the underlying current between us, or if she was too wrapped up in her own world. The drive was mostly silent, punctuated by the radio blaring some upbeat pop music that Camille sang along to, blissfully unaware of my internal turmoil. I was trapped in my thoughts, rehearsing what I would say when we reached our destination. As we arrived at the cabin, nestled deep in the woods, I took a moment to soak it all in. The tall pines swayed gently in the breeze, and the air was fresh with the scent of pine needles. I could feel my heart pounding in anticipation of the confrontation to come. Once inside, I set down the bags and glanced at Camille as she explored the cozy space. "This place is nice," she said, peering out the window at the trees. "I can see why you wanted to come here." "Yeah, it's perfect," I replied, forcing a smile. "Now, how about we settle in, and then I'll start a fire?" She nodded, her back turned to me as she arranged our things. I seized the moment to gather my thoughts. The fire crackling in the background, I called her over to the couch. "Come sit with me for a second." "Okay," she said, a hint of curiosity in her tone. She perched on the edge of the couch, looking at me expectantly. "Camille, there's something I need to talk to you about," I said, my heart racing as I braced myself for what was to come. "I've been feeling like we've been drifting apart lately, and I think it's important for us to have an honest conversation." Her brow furrowed slightly. "What do you mean? I thought things were going well." "Things seem fine on the surface," I replied, choosing my words carefully, "but I can't shake the feeling that something's off." "The songs you've been listening to." "Alex, I told you it's just music," she interrupted, her voice rising defensively. "Is it? Because it sounds like you're hiding something," I pressed, leaning in closer. "Are you cheating on me, Camille?" Is this about that singer? The words hung in the air like a heavy fog, and I watched her face drain of color. She opened her mouth, but no sound came out. The silence stretched between us, the tension palpable. I'm not. Don't lie to me. I snapped, frustration boiling over. I know something is going on. You've changed. I can feel it. She took a deep breath, her composure cracking. Fine. If you must know, I've been listening to the songs because they're just fun. I never thought of it that way. Fun? Or are they a reminder of something else? I shot back. What about the singer? You didn't think I'd find out, did you? Alex, please, she pleaded, tears brimming in her eyes. It's not what you think. I swear. Then what is it? I pressed, my voice low and dangerous. Tell me the truth. Do you have feelings for him? I don't, she hesitated, searching for words. I don't know him. It's just a song. I shook my head, the anger and betrayal pulsing through me like a living thing. You're lying. You're wrapped up in this fantasy, and I'm done pretending everything is fine. She stood, her hands shaking as she tried to maintain her composure. What do you want from me? I want the truth. I shouted, the room echoing with the force of my rage. And I want you to understand that this isn't just some game. I know you're cheating. I'm going to make you pay for what you've done. Camille recoiled as if I had struck her. What do you mean by that? I smiled, a dark satisfaction washing over me. You'll find out soon enough. As I turned away, a sense of triumph flooded through me. I could see her world crumbling, and with each passing moment, the sweet taste of retribution lingered in the back of my mind. I was determined to break her spirit, to ensure she understood the depth of her betrayal. The weekend had only just begun, and the real game was about to unfold. The intrigue deepened, the stakes rising with every moment. This wasn't just about revenge, it was about reclaiming my dignity and showing her the consequences of her choices. I wouldn't rest until I had dismantled her carefully constructed facade, brick by brick. The tension in the cabin thickens as Camille stares at me, her eyes wide with disbelief. I can see the gears turning in her mind, trying to process the gravity of our confrontation. My heart races as I contemplate my next move, the taste of revenge sharp on my tongue. Alex, please, let's just talk about this, she pleads, her voice trembling. I didn't mean to hurt you. Then why did you? I retort, crossing my arms tightly over my chest. You've been listening to that singer's songs like they mean something. You've made a choice, Camille, and now you have to face the consequences. Consequences? She asks, her voice rising in disbelief. You think you can just threaten me and make me pay for listening to music? This is insane. Is it? I challenge, stepping closer. Because to me, it feels like you've been living in a fantasy while I've been here, wondering what the hell is happening to our marriage. Her back hits the wall as she tries to maintain her composure. You're overreacting. It's just music. No, I say, shaking my head. It's not just music. It's your escape, a reminder of the life you wish you had, one that doesn't include me. And you know it. For a moment, silence stretches between us. I can feel her anger bubbling just beneath the surface, but she's struggling to hold it back. I want her to erupt, to lash out so I can see the raw emotions beneath her carefully constructed facade. Fine. If you want to play games, then let's play, she finally snaps, her voice low and defiant. What are you going to do, Alex? Just threaten me until I break down. I can't help but smirk at her challenge. Oh, Camille, you have no idea what I'm capable of. As the night progresses, I can see the light dimming in her eyes. She's starting to realize that I'm serious, and the realization ignites something fierce within me. I want to shatter her world, to make her feel the weight of her betrayal. But it's not just about her, it's about me reclaiming my dignity and power. Let's go for a walk, I suggest, my voice calm yet commanding. We need some fresh air. She hesitates but ultimately nods, and we step outside into the cool night air. The moonlight casts an ethereal glow on the forest surrounding us, and the sound of leaves crunching underfoot fills the silence. I can hear her breathing, a mix of anxiety and anticipation. As we stroll deeper into the woods, I glance at her. You know, Camille, I've always tried to be the good husband. I supported your dreams, cheered you on, but this, I gesture between us, this is betrayal at its finest. Alex, please, just listen, she begins, but I cut her off. No. You listen, I say, my voice growing stronger. You made your choices. You chose to listen to those songs, to drown yourself in fantasies instead of facing our reality. And now, you're going to experience the consequences. What are you talking about? She asks, confusion etched on her face. What are you going to do? I smile, the darkness swirling inside me growing. I've been thinking about how to show you the depth of your betrayal. It's going to hurt, but it's the only way you'll truly understand. Alex, this isn't fair, she says, panic creeping into her voice. Fair? I scoff. Life isn't fair, Camille. You chose to play with fire, and now it's time to get burned. We continue walking until we reach a small clearing. The moon hangs overhead like a spotlight, illuminating the scene. I turn to her, my expression hardening. You need to know that you're not the only one with power. You don't get to walk away from this unscathed. Stop, she cries, her voice cracking. You're scaring me. Good, I reply, stepping closer. You should be scared. You have no idea what I'm capable of. But here's a taste, I plan to expose your little affair. Everyone will know the truth, Camille, friends, family, colleagues. They'll all see you for who you really are. Her face pales as she takes a step back, shaking her head in disbelief. You wouldn't. You can't. Oh, but I can, I say, my voice low and menacing. You've given me the perfect ammunition. You've made it so easy for me to destroy you. You think those songs are just harmless entertainment. They're a declaration of your infidelity, and I'm going to make sure the world knows it. I hate you, she screams, her voice echoing through the trees. You're a monster. And you're a liar, I shoot back, not backing down. You can pretend to be the victim all you want, but you've betrayed me. You thought you could play with my heart and get away with it, but you were wrong. Her expression shifts from anger to desperation, and I can see the tears brimming in her eyes. Alex, please. I didn't mean to hurt you. It was a mistake. Was it? I challenge, my voice icy. Because it doesn't seem like it. You've made your bed, and now you have to lie in it. As the tension hangs thick in the air, I turn away from her, taking a moment to collect my thoughts. I can feel her watching me, a mix of fear and regret etched on her face. I know I'm pushing her to the brink, and the thrill of the power I hold over her is intoxicating. Tomorrow, I'm going to take some action, I say, my back still to her. I have everything I need to make this public. You'll have to face the music you've been dancing to. Don't do this, Alex, she begs, her voice shaking. Please, let's talk about it. I can change. I promise. I turn to face her, the moonlight casting shadows across my face. It's too late for promises, Camille. You made your choice, and now you'll pay the price. With that, I start walking back to the cabin, leaving her standing alone in the clearing, her world crumbling around her. The thrill of retribution fuels my steps, and I can feel the weight of my plan settling comfortably on my shoulders. Tomorrow will be the beginning of her downfall, and I won't rest until she understands the depth of her betrayal. The game has only just begun, and I am determined to win. The morning sun streams through the cabin's windows, casting an unforgiving light on the tension that still hangs thick in the air. I can feel the weight of the plan I've crafted bearing down on me, but I'm ready. Camille and I are sitting across from each other at the kitchen table, and the silence feels like a taut string waiting to snap. "Alex," she finally says, her voice trembling slightly, "can we please just talk? I don't want this to end like this." I meet her gaze, my heart hardening at the sight of her pleading expression. "Talk." I echo, the word bitter on my tongue. "You had your chance to talk when you started listening to those songs, when you decided to betray me. Please," she whispers, tears pooling in her eyes. "I never meant for it to get this far. I swear, I'll change. I'll do anything. Anything." I challenge, leaning forward. "You think I believe that? You think a few tearful promises can erase the betrayal? You're living in a fantasy, Camille. The truth is, I'm done with your lies." Her face contorts with desperation. "Alex, please don't do this. You don't have to ruin everything. I can fix it." I shake my head, a grim smile playing on my lips. "It's too late for that. You've already ruined everything. You just don't know it yet." I stand up, pacing the small kitchen as I gather my thoughts. Today, everything changes. Today, she'll understand the consequences of her actions. "Where are you going?" she asks, confusion etched across her face. "To get my phone," I reply, my voice steady. "It's time to make your little affair public." Her eyes widen in horror. "No. You can't. You're serious." "Dead serious," I say, walking toward the door. "You thought you could humiliate me and walk away scot-free? No, Camille. You'll pay for what you've done." I step outside, the cool morning air biting at my skin, and pull out my phone. My fingers move swiftly as I compose a message to a few close friends, revealing everything I know about her betrayal. I include the singer's name, the songs, and the details of the affair. Each word feels liberating, like a weight lifting off my shoulders. "Alex, please." Camille cries from behind me, her voice cracking. "Don't do this. You don't know how much it will hurt me." I turn to face her, my expression steely. "Hurt you? You've already hurt me. You've turned our marriage into a joke, and now everyone will know the truth." "Stop," she shouts, her face flushed with anger and despair. "You think this is going to make you feel better? You'll just end up hurting yourself, too." I scoff. "I'm not the one who's been cheating. I'm not the one who needs to worry about the fallout." With a swift motion, I hit send, and the message whirls into the digital ether, carrying my words to a select group of friends who will undoubtedly spread the news. The anticipation of her reaction fuels my adrenaline. Camille's face pales as she realizes the gravity of what I've just done. "You can't be serious," she gasps, backing away. "You'll ruin everything." "Everything is already ruined," I say, my voice cold. "You chose this path, and now you have to walk it. Just like I have to deal with the fallout of your lies." She takes a step toward me, her eyes pleading. "You don't have to do this. I can make it right. Just give me a chance." But I'm done listening to her empty promises. "You had your chance, and you threw it away. I won't let you manipulate me any longer." "Alex," she cries, desperation spilling over into anger. "You're being cruel. Cruel. I'm simply showing you the consequences of your actions. If you think this is cruel, just wait until your friends and family hear about this." With that, I turn and walk back into the cabin, leaving her standing in the doorway, her expression a mixture of anger, fear, and regret. I can feel a sense of victory swelling within me, but there's also an unsettling weight that hangs over me. This is it, the point of no return. A few hours later, my phone buzzes with notifications. Friends responding, messages being shared, and soon enough, the news spreads like wildfire. I can see Camille pacing in the background, her eyes darting between her phone and me, her panic palpable. "What have you done?" she asks, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've given you what you deserve," I reply, a sense of finality in my tone. "You wanted to play with fire, and now you're getting burned." Her expression shifts from fear to rage. "You think this will fix anything? You think this is going to make you feel better?" "I don't need fixing, Camille. I need to reclaim my dignity. And if that means destroying your precious little world, then so be it." Suddenly, there's a knock on the door, and my heart races. Camille's face goes white, the realization dawning on her. "Is it?" "Let's see," I say, a grim smile spreading across my face as I open the door. Standing there are a couple of our friends, their expressions a mix of confusion and shock. "Hey, we got a message, what's going on?" one of them asks, glancing between Camille and me. I step aside, inviting them in. "Come in. You might want to hear this." The moment they enter, Camille tries to regain control. "This is a mistake." "I can explain," she shouts, but the panic in her voice is evident. "No need to explain," I interject, my voice steady. "They already know." "What do you mean?" another friend asks, furrowing their brow. "Let's just say Camille's been living a double life," I say, crossing my arms as I watch the scene unfold. "And now it's all out in the open." The room falls silent, the weight of the truth hanging in the air like a thick fog. Camille's face twists in horror as she realizes the impact of her betrayal. You told them?" she stammers, the betrayal seeping into her own eyes. "Of course," I reply, my tone icy. "You needed to face the truth. I'm not the only one who deserves to know what's been happening behind closed doors." As the reality sinks in, I can see the hurt and betrayal reflecting back from her friends' faces. They turn to Camille, disappointment and disbelief etched in their features. "Is this true?" one of them asks, voice trembling. "Camille, is it really true?" She stutters, looking around at their faces, but the truth has already shattered the fragile facade she'd built. Before she can respond, another friend interjects, shaking his head in disbelief. "I can't believe you do this to Alex. We trusted you." "Don't act like I'm the villain here," she snaps, her voice rising. "I never meant for it to happen. It was just some stupid songs. Stupid songs that meant everything to you." I shoot back, the rage boiling inside me. "You made your choice, and now you're facing the consequences." The tension in the room escalates, and Camille's expression shifts from desperation to defiance. "I don't care what you all think. You don't know the whole story." "What story could possibly justify this?" one of our friends counters, the disappointment clear in his tone. In that moment, I realize Camille is grasping at straws, and the weight of her betrayal is finally crushing her. "I've lost everything because of you," she mutters, tears streaming down her face. "You've destroyed me. Don't you dare turn this around on me." I yell, frustration erupting. "You did this to yourself. You're the one who betrayed our marriage." As the confrontation escalates, I watch as her friends begin to back away, their expressions a mixture of pity and anger. They start to murmur among themselves, realizing the depth of her betrayal. "I can't believe you'd throw it all away," one of them finally says, shaking his head. "You've lost us too, Camille." The finality of those words hits her like a punch to the gut, and I can see the color draining from her face. "No. You can't do this to me. I thought we were friends." But her words fall on deaf ears. The betrayal has sealed her fate, and the door to her former life closes behind her, one friend at a time. In that moment, I feel a strange mix of satisfaction and sorrow. I've won this round, I've exposed her for who she truly is. But as the reality settles in, I also feel the heaviness of what it means to end a significant chapter of my life. I hope you realize what you've lost, I say quietly, my voice barely above a whisper. You had it all, and you threw it away for a fantasy. As the last of our friends leaves, Camille sinks to the floor, her sobs echoing through the empty cabin. I watch her, my heart hardening further, knowing that I'll never be able to look at her the same way again. Goodbye, Camille, I say, turning away, the weight of the world lifting from my shoulders as I step outside. The sun shines brightly above, a stark contrast to the darkness I leave behind. I walk away, feeling the finality of our shattered bond. It's over, everything we built, everything we dreamed of. In her pursuit of fantasy, she lost everything that truly mattered, and I'm left with the bitter taste of betrayal, a reminder that some scars never fully heal. In the end, I've reclaimed my dignity, but at what cost? We part forever, bound by the hatred of betrayal, each lost in our own tragedy. And as I drive away, I know I'll never look back.